Road building is under increasing environmental and financial pressure. The trees will regrow, but the scars left by the roads will be visible for thousands of years to come. However, there is a way of getting logs off the hill without building the awful switchback roads. But it doesn't come cheap. Hayes runs 3 Sikorsky S61s. In the UK, they're known as Sea Kings and have been used by military organisations all over the world. 3,000 horsepower, equivalent to 6 of the big trucks or 2 trains. They can lift around 5 tons of wood each trip. That makes 20 trips per truckload. But the Canadian government is keen to encourage helicopter logging, so timber harvesting rights from the government are cheaper if companies agree to use helicopters rather than land-based systems, such as high leads or snorkels. The costs of running these machines is extremely high, but with trip times as low as 3 minutes, they can bring almost 100 tons of wood off the hill per hour. I spent a couple of days with one of the heli-logging crews. The first was spent with the riggers on the hill. They're usually dropped off on their patches half an hour or more before the S61 is due to start flying. The men wear cork boots, which make golf spikes look pretty Nancy. You never pick a fight with a logger while he's still wearing his work clothes.
That's amazing.
The aim of the game is to build loads that come as close to the 10,000 pound lift capacity of the S61 as possible, but without ever going over it.
The trick is to pull the top wood first. Try and grab a piece from below. It ain't gonna go anywhere. So you kind of got to walk your wood pretty good.
The work is hard and dangerous, and the insects are relentless. But I have to tell you, that somehow with a video, the slopes never appear as steep as they look to the naked eye.
How much do those chokers weigh?
I think they're about 25, 27 pounds, somewhere around there. Maybe even a little lighter, not too bad.
I'm getting eaten alive here, man.
Yeah, they're nasty today.
It must be like a giant game of pickup sticks sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it actually is. It's a huge game of pickup sticks. But we get paid to do it.
Pretty soon the piece is shattered by the clatter of the S61. And once work starts, Ron will have to dispatch 3 loads in quick succession. The Sikorsky will then head off to do the other men. He'll then have half an hour or so to get ready for the next 3 turns. For the economics to work out, the S61 has to be kept flying productively. The skyhook can take up to 4 chokers, and the pilots can dump each one individually, so that should Ron put too much weight on, the pilots can drop the lightest log. All 4 can be jettisoned at once should the pilot get into trouble. The rigger brings all 4 chokers together so that they can be quickly attached to the skyhook. The hook itself is extremely heavy, and Ron has to stay well clear. The other thing he has to do is to get well away before the lift starts. The technique employed by the helicopter pilots is to break the logs free from the trash and lay them pointing up the hill. Then, once they're all lined up and in the clear, he can pour on the power. The riggers can join more than one choker together so that the top logs are lifted clear first. It's an amazing operation, but loggers have always been keen to use the latest technology. Imagine the reaction of the early ox drivers when they first saw a steam winch or locomotive appear in the woodlands. The helicopter can carry heavier loads when it's starting to run short of fuel. 8,000 pounds when it's full, closer to 10 when it's nearly empty. The hook has a rubber-coated chain hanging from it, with just the very last couple of links exposed. The reason for this is that the helicopter builds up an electrical charge, which needs to be earthed before Ron makes contact. Otherwise he gets a painful, but non-fatal electric shock.
Okay, now just tell me, you're worried about this log, why?
Oh yeah, big I think.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
How much do you reckon it weighs?
I'm hoping 8,000 pounds.
How much?
75,000.
35,000.
75.
75,000. So you're only a tiny bit out.
That's 500 pounds out.
It's easy to see when the Sikorsky is struggling. Loggers call it a heli show, and that's what it really does look like. At the end of the day, the men are picked up by the 206 and can at last make an escape from the relentless attention of the insects.